Hi everyone, my name's Ashlyn and I'm here to talk about the elephant in the room at every family table. Sex. Sex communication between adolescents and parents can be one of the most awkward, avoided, and misused forms of communication out there. Teens do not want to talk about their parents about sex, and many parents assume it might be better just to go without the topic being discussed. Discussion between parents and their adolescents about sex can create a positive relationship between the child and sexual-related issues topics such as sex, sexuality, and sexual health. My goal is to teach you all about the ideas of parent-child sex communication, the benefits of sex communication, and how adolescents are affected by communication with parents. First off, what is parent-sex communication? Well, according to a study completed in 2017 by Flores, published in the Journal of Sex Research, it is defined as the bidirectional communication between parents or parental figures and their children about sex-related issues including sex, sexuality, and sexual health outcomes. Sexual health in adolescents is greatly influenced by the role their parents play and can shape their sexual decision-making. Adolescent years are considered one of the most developing stages as a child starts to make decisions on their own and strives for autonomy separated from their parents. It was found that parental discussions about sex with their adolescent child were associated with condom use, decreased unprotected sex, and increased protection from sexually transmitted diseases. Many studies, however, tend to look at the connection between two-parent households and adolescent sexuality. However, Davis and colleagues completed a study in 2001 published by the Journal of Marriage and Family that suggests there is a specific relationship between a mother and child, their level of interaction, and the mother's attitude towards the discussion of sex that is associated with adolescent sexuality. Similar to the ideas of Flores, this study explains that family is considered a main conduit of socialization, including sexual socialization in young adolescents. Many parents tend to have the worry that having discussions about sex will increase their child's likelihood of having sex earlier. However, adolescents who rated their general communication with their parents favorably were less likely to be sexually active. Open discussions with parents allow adolescents to feel in control of sexual decisions during a time where independence is sought after. Another area of sexual communication I wanted to look into was based off of demographics of where a child or adolescent may live. A recent study completed in 2016 by Mari and colleagues in the PLOS One journal took a look at disadvantaged communities in the Baltimore area and looked at how 400 to 500 adolescents felt about their relationships with their parents and the support or guidance that they were given about sex-related topics. The 2016 study found that the lack of parental presence in these low-income areas left adolescents feeling a lack of support and guidance within the realm of sexual health. There were three key factors that influenced these sexual activities and risk-taking behaviors, which included lack of parental support, parental communication patterns, and domestic and intimate partner violence. In these low-income areas, many children are faced with a lack of family and are often raising themselves and siblings, so there's no guidance from parents. Unfortunately, because of this lack of support, these low-income adolescents are faced with high rates of STDs and unwanted pregnancies. Adolescents growing up in these neighborhoods often do not get a chance to get out and create a new pattern, so this results in a pattern of adolescents lacking education and sex communication. This brings me to the last topic of the pattern of sex communication between adolescents and how their patterns can result in a positive correlation. A study that I really liked, conducted by Mallory in 2012, published by Kansas State University, evaluated 441 college students and their intimate relationships with how they associated their parent-child sexual communication and their sexual communication that they had in their own relationship as a couple. It was found that the quality of a couple's sexual communication positively was related to the frequency of a parent-child communication. To break down this idea, it means that the more times an adolescent had sex communication with their parents as adolescents, the more likely their own relationship as an adult had a high sex communication pattern. This is a good find because Now parents can see that having an open communication with their children can have a positive influence on their futures as adults. Between all these studies and factors found, the common thing that I found was that parent-child sex communication often left children feeling more educated and supported. Also, their past communication with their parents could positively or negatively affect their own relationship and how they communicated about sex with partners. In conclusion, based off all this research I found, I want to tell families that it is okay to have sex-related communication with their children and parents. It is actually better than okay. It is great. Although it may be awkward, children will benefit significantly from having discussions on sex and create an open relationship with their parents or parental figures. These researchers have so much evidence, and there's only more to learn. So my final words of advice with to families with adolescents are, bite the bullet and talk about sex.